This year's draft class is supposed to be amazing with Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey, Dylan Harper. Teams are scrambling to get to the bottom, but one team has refused to tank. The Portland Trailblazers missed the memo on being bad this year, and in fact, they are shocking the NBA. And there's a secret hidden inside this Trailblazers roster. And when you understand it, it's going to change the way the next 5 years in the NBA play out. The first thing that you have to understand about this Trailblazers team is they weren't supposed to be this good this fast. They've gone 8-2 over their last 10 games, beating a Phoenix Suns team last night that needed to win now. The Suns are so win now mode that I didn't even have time to write a metaphor for it. And the Trailblazers come in here, a team that's supposed to be in rebuild mode, a team that is the second youngest team in the NBA, and they calmly and they collectively beat this veteran Olympic team in overtime. How does it happen that we're seeing rumors that the Trailblazers are shopping Simons, Grant, and Deandre Ayton, but the Trailblazers' future is so bright, and I want to tell you why. The best player on the Portland Trailblazers is 24-year-old Deni Avdija. That's right. 24-year-old Deni Avdija is Luka at home. Everyone's talking about Luka Doncic. You have Luka already in Portland, except this one stays in shape and he has two healthy calf muscles. Deni Avdija can do it all. Just like at Denny's, he's open 24/7 and he serves up the grand slam. This guy can shoot from outside. He's a threat when he drives the lane, and he is an excellent passer. Offensively, Deni has no weakness in his game, and he's getting better by the game. But Deni's skill set is not the reason that he's the key to the Trailblazers' future. And you can't talk about the Trailblazers' future without talking about the young studs that are on this team. And the first one that comes to my mind is Toumani Camara, also 24 years old, just like Deni. This guy was considered a throw-in in the Dame Lillard trade, where supposedly the big prizes were Drew Holiday and Deandre Ayton. But it might turn out that the big haul from the Dame Lillard trade was Toumani Camara, because this guy is the future of NBA defense. He is long, he's everywhere, he's switchable, and he's proven that he can actually be a decent scorer. Camara's been putting up 14 points per game over the last 2 weeks. And when you're doing that and guarding the best player, sometimes the best players on the other team, you are winning your matchup and putting the Blazers in a position to succeed. But it's not just these two young switchable wings. The Blazers have been led by a resurging Deandre Ayton, aka Dominatin'. His nickname used to be said sarcastically, but now this guy is regularly putting up 25-point, 20-rebound games, absolutely dominating the post in a way that is a throwback to the older NBA. Ayton is not a perfect player, but he is really, really good at what he does. He has a face-up post game, hitting you with jab steps and jump shots. He also is really good around the rim. He has excellent touch. Over the last 2 weeks, he's shooting 71% while also putting up 22 points and 11 rebounds and going back into Phoenix and beating the Phoenix Suns team that needs to win now. And you know that felt good for a player that was so disrespected by the Phoenix Suns franchise. And despite all these rumors that the Trailblazers are going to blow it up, I don't think they need to. This Blazers team is an abundance of riches, and they've got all these hidden gems and undervalued players. And no one is more undervalued and hidden in the NBA right now than Scoot Henderson. This guy was the number 3 pick in the draft last year, but it was a draft with Wembanyama and Brandon Miller, and then sandwiched in the middle is Scoot, and then under him is the Thompson twins. And it makes sense when all these other larger-than-life personalities are in your draft that Scoot could go unnoticed. And when Scoot came in to the league his rookie year, he really struggled. Even though Scoot has all the physical tools, he's really strong and explosive for a guard. He has a lot of Steve Francis in him. When he came in, the turnovers were too high. He couldn't handle the speed of NBA defenses, and his shooting was too streaky. But that was the old Scoot. That was the Scoot of 12 months ago. The Scoot of today is aggressive and poised and is shooting the three ball at a respectable 36% this season. It's no longer a weakness. And his driving ability is so strong that we're now getting to see his stellar passing come out. The defenses have to know where Scoot is at all times. But there's another 21-year-old guard on this Portland Trailblazers team that can absolutely give you buckets. Shaden Sharp reminds me so much of a young Vince Carter with his body movement and his mannerisms. It's insane. The way he rises up for dunks is literally poetry. It's beautiful and it's violent at the same time. It makes me want to go find a wild Mustang and try to ride it, but then I'm going to get thrown off, just like Shaden Sharp is throwing off defenders and absolutely smashing on people in the paint. He has incredible footwork to get to his mid-range jump shot. His shot selection isn't the best on offense. Shaden Sharp can make tough buckets, but sometimes I think he falls in love with the idea of making the tough bucket. This is a little bit of like J.R. Smith shot selection. Now he's young, he's 21 years old, he can totally fix this. But for the Blazers to have a luxury of another 20 point per game score, Scoot can give you 20 points on any given night. And now Shaden Sharp can give you 20 points on any given night. So the Blazers have the keys to the future sitting in their hands. And I told you before, it all runs through Deni. Deni is the best player on the Blazers right now, but he's also the most important player for the Trailblazers in the future. And it's because he has one of the craziest contracts in the NBA. Look at this. I made the Luka joke, but Luka was just traded because his team did not want to give him the Supermax. How much was Luka's Supermax? It could have been $350 million or over $70 million a year. Now, I already know you got to the comment section and you were like, Deni's not as good as Luka. Deni's not as good as Luka, but you fell into my trap. That's engagement. Don't forget to like and subscribe. The real reason why I think Deni is so important to the future is because of his contract. It's the reverse Luka contract. Deni Avdija is signed for the next 3 years in descending value. What is descending value? That means in an NBA where every dollar is precious, where the second apron has come in and absolutely decimated teams' ability to hold on to their roster, Deni Avdija is good enough to be a best or second best player on your team. But more importantly than that, this dude is more underpaid than a McDonald's worker. This guy is more underpaid than a UFC fighter on his first deal. This guy is so underpaid, making $15 million this year, but then $14 million in 25-26, $13 million in 26-27, and only $11.8 million 3 years from now, when he could very well be an all-star. The fact that this is Deni Avdija might be the most valuable contract in the NBA right now that isn't on a rookie deal. He can absolutely anchor a franchise. So now the Trailblazers can go out and they can trade Time Lord. They can trade Jeremy Grant. They can trade DeAndre Ayton if they want. He's playing well enough that you might keep him as the second or third star on this team. But the Blazers are holding all of the options. As we see other teams with no options, the Phoenix Suns have one bullet in the chamber left. That's it. The Miami Heat are staring down the barrel of limited roster flexibility, but the Portland Trailblazers have one of the most exciting young cores and one of the most exciting rosters in the NBA, and it's time the rest of the league figure that out.